Pennywise the Clown, who also goes by the names of the Dancing Clown, Robert Gray, and the Eater of Worlds and Children. It is known as an entity that comes from the macroverse. Its true form is called the Deadlights. Its other forms consist of a large black pregnant spider that lives in the sewer system under the town of Derry. The macroverse is an undiscovered void that contains and surrounds the entire known universe. It mainly takes the form of a clown to lure children, and it likes to eat children the most, because they taste so much better when they are scared and full of fear. Another reason is that they are easier to hunt. It refers to the fear in children as salting the meat or marinating it for consumption. It arrived on Earth as an asteroid in the prehistoric period through a cataclysmic event, crashing into the Earth in the same area that later became the town of Derry. It stayed and hibernated in the same area until humans came and later settled, almost like it knew they would come one day. It created a cycle of hibernation where it would sleep and wake up every 27 to 30 years at a time. Every time it awakened, it left in its path a trail of horrid and violent bloody events that wreak havoc on the town of Derry. Its age is considered to be that of millions of years old, and it was born before time and space was created. Even though many of these horrific events happened, the whole town, mainly the adults, just ignored the events as regular occurrences or acted like they never happened. No matter how horrid or gruesome of an event, the stories never made the national news or out of Derry. Many, if not all, of the child murders and disappearances were never solved and soon forgotten like they never happened. In the novel, the main reasoning behind this was that it never let them get out and it controlled what happened in Derry. It also took many other forms such as bats, leeches, werewolves and sharks, pretty much anything that would put the fear into a children. It was stopped the first time by the Losers Club because Bill Denbrough performed the ritual of Chud, which Bill learns to perform from its enemy, the turtle. Bill meets the turtle when he comes close to seeing the Deadlights, but avoids seeing them. The Deadlights, when seen by a human, drives them instantly insane. The only person known to ever come out of insanity after seeing the Deadlights was Bill's wife, Audra Phillips. Its enemy, the turtle, who is also an ancient macroverse being, who also is known as the Dweller, created the universe eons ago and also shows up in the Dark Tower series. The turtle is considered a creator of worlds and it is a consumer of worlds. The turtle appears in the Dark Tower series as the Maturin and is one of the guardians of the beam. The creation versus consumption, that's one way of looking at why they are natural enemies, trapped in an eternal battle of creation versus consumption. It refers to itself as a superior being and humans are mere toys to him through its viewpoint in the novel, and the turtle is considered close to its superiority. Here's a timeline of its destruction and disasters in the town of Derry. 1715, 1716, it awoke. 1740, 1743, it awoke and started a 3-year reign of terror that culminated with the disappearance of over 300 settlers from Derry Township, much like the Roanoke Island mystery. 1769, 1770, it awoke. 1851, it awoke when a man named John Markson poisoned his family, then committed suicide by eating the white nightshade mushroom, causing him an excruciating death. 1876, 1879, it awoke, then went back into hibernation after murdering a group of lumberjacks who were later found near the Kenduskeag. 1904, 1906, it awoke when a lumberjack named Claude Heroux murdered a number of men in a bar with an axe. Heroux was promptly pursued by a mob of townsfolk and hanged. It returned to hibernation when the Kitchener Ironworks exploded, killing 108 people, 88 of whom were children engaged in an Easter egg hunt. 1929, 1930, It awoke when a large group of Derry citizens gunned down a small group of gangsters known as the Bradley Gang. It returned to hibernation when the main Legion of White Decency, a northern counterpart to the Ku Klux Klan, burned down an African-American Army nightclub known as the Black Spot. 1957, 1958, it awoke when Dorsey Corcoran was beaten to death by his stepfather, Richard Macklin. Its first known victim at this time was Georgie during one of the floods that hits Derry every few years. It then met its match when the Losers Club forced it to return to an early hibernation when wounded by the young Bill Denbrough, Georgie's older brother, in the first ritual of Chud. 1984, 1985, it awoke when three young homophobic bullies beat up a young couple, Adrian Mellon and Don Haggerty, throwing Mellon off a bridge, echoing real-life events in Maine. It was finally defeated in the second ritual of Chud by the adult Bill, Richie, Beverly, Eddie, and Ben, though this triggered the collapse of the water tower and flooding of the town.